I tried my best to go the self-employed route. So I can't really have a ceiling over my head that somebody controls. I mean, you still you got to play the game, but your value and your worth is not dictated by somebody else.
Yo, how is everybody doing? How everybody doing this fine October evening, you hear me? We back. As y'all know, as we promised, we back one more time up in this thing. Season 2, of course, of the best podcast on earth, the ShiftMakers podcast. Y'all are definitely welcome to join me today on this audio adventure. Just before we get into things, just want to give y'all a couple of updates on things. You know. Your boy actually just got married. Just got married to the most amazing woman on earth. So, definitely got to clap it up for myself on that one right quick. Also, been moving around, just got a better job for sure. So I'll be able to deliver better content, more consistent content, I'll say. And that's exactly why the ShiftMakers podcast will now be a weekly thing. Yes, that is absolutely right. Every single Friday. Make sure y'all tune in because we will be dropping an episode every single Friday. So make sure y'all got that on y'all calendars. If you ain't subscribed to our YouTube, make sure you do that. Make sure you subscribe on any type of platform that y'all listening to. That way y'all can get the notification when we do drop, you dig? And of course, we appreciate you tuning in. And today, I got something pretty special for y'all. I got something quite honestly been wanting to talk about with y'all. This gonna be another little solo episode, so I'm gonna serve y'all with a quick little 30-minute session right quick. Today, it's really gonna be just a quick discussion on wokeness. Wokeness and how it comes for you, for me, for us, for we, whatever you want to say. Wokeness comes for us all. And the thing that kind of influenced me to talk about this is, and I normally don't do this, but something actually kind of currently going on in the world today. And I don't know how familiar y'all are with sports and, the football world, basketball world, different things like that. But in the football world, there was this coach of the Las Vegas Raiders, head coach, that is, named John Gruden. Now, John Gruden, he is a, highly celebrated coach. He won a Super Bowl back in 2002 with the Bucks. Took a nice leave from the NFL. And started doing play-by-play for ESPN's Monday Night Football. And then recently he got back into coaching for the Las Vegas Raiders. This was, I believe, 2 years ago. And he signed the most lucrative contract, you hear me, for any football head coach in NFL history. He signed a 10-year contract for $100 million. 100 mil. And basically, within the first 2 to 3 years, John Gruden now finds himself without a job. And I don't necessarily want to say it's only because of cancel culture and woke people, because he actually kind of walked himself into that position, if we're going to be honest with you. I mean, some of the things he said was pretty crazy, was pretty wild. And just mentioning what he said, he actually got caught. This is the reason why he got fired. He got caught from released emails. This was emails dating back to like 2007, 2008, 2010, 2011. So 10 years plus, right? The NFL did an investigation on the Washington football team. And I know we ain't gonna be talking about sports for too long, y'all. So just stick with me. And when the NFL did that investigation, John Gruden popped up in some of the emails, emailing one of the assistant coaches for the Washington football team, basically. And he was emailing him all types of crazy shit. I mean, let's be honest. We tend to say some crazy things, when we feel like we're not being recorded, maybe sometimes, or when we're not being watched, maybe sometimes, or when we feel like basically we're not monitored, right? And again, I ain't trying to shoot Gruden any bail, or I ain't trying to, get him out of the hole he kind of dug himself. I'm just giving you an example as to kind of what I'm talking about, right? So he kind of said some racist things. He mentioned, he was talking about one of the ex-NFL executives' lips. He was a black person. He was talking about how big the person's lips was and shit like that. And he said, oh, this dude lips are as big as Michelin tires or some shit like that, basically. Wow! And of course, the media storm came the very next day, over the weekend, and also on Monday, when those emails finally got released. And a lot of people, of course, was calling John Gruden a racist and saying, oh, how can you coach a team with 70% black people, which is most of the NFL teams, quite honestly, when you're a racist? And I mean, guess what happened that following Monday? John Gruden, he said a little apology. He kind of gave an excuse as to why he mentioned or talked about the dude lips being big and, the little racist stereotype and shit. And basically that was it. I mean, of course, the media was still down his throat, but nothing necessarily happened to Gruden himself. Now, the very next day, it was exposed that more emails came out. And these emails in particular was talking about Roger Goodell, the NFL commissioner, which is basically the president of the NFL, kind of. He was also talking about Joe Biden. We know who Joe Biden is. He was also talking about women, saying women shouldn't be able to referee in NFL. They shouldn't coach. So, sprinkling in some misogyny. And just to wrap it all up, you hear me? Just to put it in one big ass Christmas box and wrap it with a nice, beautiful bow tie, he talked about the LGBTQ community. I believe I said that right. And basically, he got labeled as a homophobe. I don't know exactly what he said, but he was basically talking very derogatory to him and calling people the F word. We know what the F word is. And with all of that, basically, very next day, it was a complete 180. Oh, they was already down his throat. But this time, John Gruden gotta retire. John Gruden is done. He through for. He ain't gonna never coach another goddamn team in this league. He ain't gonna be coaching in college. He ain't gonna be coaching in high school. Hell, he probably ain't gonna even be coaching your kids, you hear me? So basically, they just finished John Gruden and told him, hey, you gotta find a whole nother career path. And I thought about that. I'm like, damn, that's pretty interesting, because when the racist shit came out, they wasn't necessarily down his throat then. So why now? Was it the homophobic comments? Is that more of a bad thing than being racist? Was it the misogynistic comments? Is that more of a bad thing than being racist? I'm just trying to get clarification on the levels of this. What gets you completely canceled and thrown away, and then what just gets you semi-canceled for 24 hours, because that's basically what I'm kind of getting told by what the public is doing with this particular situation. You hear me? And I kind of wanted to tie the whole John Gruden thing just to provide a nice little transition into Dave Chappelle and his new special that he just put out on Netflix. and basically how he spoke about cancel culture. And I'm not going to be very long with the Dave Chappelle bit, but Dave Chappelle, he basically brought up DaBaby, the rapper DaBaby, and how DaBaby was able to kill a human being in Walmart. Now, the human being was black, so I think that has a part of the reason why he was able to do this. He was able to kill him in self-defense, albeit, and nobody batted an eye. But the minute DaBaby spoke on the LGBTQ community, oh, he should retire as a rapper. There's no way he can tour. There's no way he can make another song. I mean, it's just impossible. Nobody will like him. Nobody will fuck with him. And I mean, it's just to the point where he's just the most dangerous rapper in the game today. And I'm like, damn, so he could kill somebody. And like Dave Chappelle said, he could kill somebody and he celebrated. But he talked bad about something or a group of people, and we just can't even listen to his music no more. We can't see him. You know, he just got to go to jail. You know, he got to go to prison, bro. You know, we got to lock his ass up. So, and that's kind of what, you know, it's just crazy because that's really kind of where I feel like we're being taken as a society. I'll call it unsure cancelization.
Huh, okay.
Which is basically the process of being unsure why you should cancel someone or somebody or something. And with all of that being said, we actually have our first clip of the day to kind of help me get a little bit more clarity and help me, you know, be a little bit more sure about what we're talking about, you know, about this woke culture and cancel culture in a sense, right? So this first clip is actually going to be coming from the Brilliant Idiots podcast with Charlemagne and Andrew Schultz. And they're basically going to be telling us, who does the woke or cancel culture crowd come for?
So it doesn't matter whether you're a straight white male, a black gay man, a transgender, whatever, Jewish, Asian, eventually they will come for you. The woke, you will say something online that somebody will not agree with. And here's the thing, right? You should not get in front of a microphone. You should not get in front of a camera and express your opinion if you're afraid of people disagreeing with you.
And that's really what it boils down to. But he said it. They're coming for white people. They're coming for black people. Even if you're gay, they gonna come for your ass. And the thing is like, where in the world, for one thing, how in the world do these people feel like they have the authority to tell people what to say, what they can't say, how they should think, and how they can't think? And two, like, where does the debate come in? Where does free thinking come in? Where does just conversation come in? And that's kind of what Charlemagne was saying. And I'm going to rewind it just 10 seconds so y'all can get the last few things he was saying again.
Agree with. And here's the thing, right? You should not get in front of a microphone. You should not get in front of a camera and express your opinion if you're afraid of people disagreeing with you.
And that's really my whole point. And why I'm doing this today, of course. You know, I'm not afraid of people disagreeing with me. In fact, I actually welcome it, which is why I tell y'all every single episode, if you got any disagreements, if you got anything you want to tell me, hell, if you got a comment, is there anything that you want to relay my way, don't be afraid to send it to me. Because, of course, I welcome that. I welcome free thought. I welcome disagreement. I welcome people giving me their perspective. And that way we can have an understanding of perspective. Something Mo Facts, shout out Mo Facts and Adam Curry podcast. Something they always say is seek first to understand, then to be understood. And I feel like if the cancel culture or woke people, whatever, you know, whoever this group is, if they was to seek first to understand, then we wouldn't really be seeing a lot of the issues that we see today when it comes with these people. We really wouldn't be seeing a lot of the issues of, hey, you need to think like me. You need to agree like me. You need to believe everything I believe. And if you don't, then you just can't, you're canceled. You can't do anything in this world. That type of thinking, for one thing, is dangerous. And for two, it's irrational. And for three, I mean, you just can't live life like that. It's impossible. It's impossible. So now that we know who they come for, these type of people, we need to figure out who won't they come for.
The only people who don't get a turn are the ones that are lying to everybody. And they're playing it so safe that they're literally just saying whatever the crowd wants them to say.
Why you
even those people with their safe opinions, it's going to be somebody that disagrees with you. I say this to them on the Breakfast Club all the time. I tell Envy this all the time because Envy gets very frustrated. But one of my mentors, my man Cadillac Jack always talked about the law of 10. 3 people going to like it. 3 people not going to like it. 4 people just going to be on the fence about it, or 4 people not even going to give a fuck.
Yeah.
That's true.
So on social media, it is literally the epitome of everybody has an audience and everything has an audience.
Everybody.
So it's just like it comes with the territory, man.
Yeah.
And do you know your territory? And that's really what it is. In order to maneuver through and with these people, you got to understand and know your territory. And at this point, you know, you kind of got to read the room and speak according to the territory that you operating in. You know what I'm saying? So like on Twitter, you know, you can't say certain shit because it's going to get people all up in arms, even if you know it's the truth. Even if you know it's the truth, right? And that's exactly what Charlamagne just said. The people who these people don't come for is basically the liars. The liars. Give you an example. You see all these politicians, what they do? Come on now, you see Bernie Sanders. You see Bernie, man. You see Bernie, man. What is Bernie doing? What is he doing? How you gonna cancel somebody that's saying universal health care? How you gonna cancel somebody that's saying all around income $1,000 checks every month? How you gonna cancel somebody that want to cancel all student debt and student loans? How you gonna cancel that person when he's clearly lying?
Unbelievable is believable. The unachievable is achievable.
Why you gotta lie? And that's exactly how you stay safe from these people, is to lie. But that's not what we do. Right? I mean, what's the reason to lie when you could tell the truth? You hear me? And not only that, when you do tell the truth, that's how you actually get the ability, for one, to help somebody free think, to help somebody think for themselves, because you're now engaging in real life conversation. Even if it's not something that they want to hear, it's still stimulating to the mind to the point where they can at least be open and honest about themselves, open and honest about maybe certain things that they're thinking in their mind. And then again, it can lead to open and honest conversation, not trying to persuade anyone, but more so just trying to talk through problems. And that's the thing. But you can't get to that if you're always lying, right? I mean, how? How could you? We see it all of the time again with these politicians. That's all they do is lie. We seen it with Trump. Shit. The entire time. We seen it with Joe Biden right now. Again, Bernie Sanders. I mean, all of these people, bro. And that's exactly why, again, woke culture has a very tough time coming from. Now, Trump, he probably lied the least, which is why the woke people probably, that's why they was on his ass the whole time. But, you know, it just has a lot to do with how open and honest I feel like you really want to be in a certain setting. Again, bringing it back to Twitter, you know, people may be scared to say certain shit on Twitter because they may feel like, oh, I'm going to lose all my followers. Or, oh, these people going to screenshot me and they going to run up the retweets. You hear me? They going to run up the quotes. They going to run up the likes and all of that. So they, you know, they steady in how they speak. They watching how they talk. Even if they know they need to say some shit that's probably going to help somebody, or they know they need to say something to get something off their chest, something that they've been thinking about, some bullshit that they've been thinking about. You know what I'm saying? But again, how you going to get there if you're always ready to lie? Now, I do want to know, we know kind of, sort of, what happens when you're canceled, right? Kind of, sort of. But I do want full kind of clarification, a full thought out answer and just clarified response as to what they do when they come for you. What does the woke crowd do?
let's get this person the fuck out of here just because you don't agree with something that they said. To me, that's weak.
That's whack.
That's weak to me. Let's have the...
And that's exactly what they do. Let's get these people out of here. Let's gather them up and let's get them out of here, right? Like, that's exactly what they do. That's all they look to do. They don't look to talk through problems. They don't look to actually find retribution and trying to help somebody if they're racist. They don't look to actually try and make that person less racist or something. I don't know. Or if that person is misogynistic, they don't look to maybe tell that person about why women are very, 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 very needed in whatever situation that person is talking about. Or if they gay, or if they, whatever it may be. They don't look to say, oh, well, you know, maybe you should let that person, that gay person live their life because every person deserves happiness and every person deserves to be loved. No, instead, let's just cancel them. You know what I'm saying? Instead, let's just get them out of here. Instead, fuck them. Hang them out to dry, you know what I mean? And that's exactly what these people do, you know what I'm saying?
Debate. Why do you think we watch ESPN First Take? Because we like to debate. Why do you think that we watch CNN and MSNBC when it's the talking heads and the panels?
Well, I don't watch CNN or MSNBC. Yeah, again, y'all don't watch the news.
Bill Maher, because we like to debate. Why can't we all just exchange ideas? As long as the ideas aren't dangerous, as long as the ideas aren't hurting nobody, as long as the ideas aren't calling for nobody to get killed. You know what I mean? Why can't...
And that's my point. As long as the ideas or whatever it may be isn't hurting anyone, causing anybody to get killed, or just any type of danger, why are you trying to muzzle that? Right? Why in the world do we need to go about the business of taking everything from someone if whatever they're doing or whatever they're saying isn't causing anyone actual danger? Like, just think about that. What's the reason why? I know the reason why. It's because they tell us to do this shit. And by they, I'm talking about people in power. They tell us, hey, this is acceptable. We should cancel these people. We should get rid of them. They shouldn't be a part of society. They shouldn't be able to do this. They shouldn't be able to do that. Right? We know certain instances where things were told to us by higher powers. And of course, we operate under those things and we ostracize certain people. We tell people, hey, you can't come here. You can't do that without this. Right? So what I'm saying is, if that's the case, why are we canceling people? Because that's clearly the exact same thing. We're being told something by, say, the trending topics on Twitter. Hey, the baby said this, that, and the third about this group of people. And then when we click on that, we see mad people with blue check marks telling us how we should feel about what the baby said. And now he's canceled. Yep. That's basically how this shit go. And that kind of leads me into thinking and wondering, how can we avoid this? Like, I feel like there's all types of way to avoid this. One in particular, of course, is by supporting people, supporting them in the right way. Just like, of course, you can support this podcast. You hear me? I'm not going to give y'all no long drawn out ad like I normally do, but I do want to, of course, remind everybody that you can choose to give value back. Just consider any type of value that you got from this show, from this episode, from last season. Consider the value and then just consider giving it back in any way you possibly can. If that's, of course, you going about the business of telling someone about the show, giving a recommendation, of course, leaving a review on any of the podcast apps, subscribing, leaving comments, liking, or, of course, leaving a donation We definitely have our Cash App. We definitely got, of course, not a Cash App. We ain't got no Cash App, y'all. We got a Venmo and a PayPal that we have in the show notes, of course. So, again, that's how you get away from wokeness, and that's exactly why we do what we do. We don't normally accept ad money because of this exact reason. We don't want to be eligible to be canceled, because if we accept ad money, say from, I don't know, Walmart, well, the type of stuff we talking about, Walmart may not like that one day, so they could cancel us. So that's why I always talk about giving value, getting value, and giving value back, because of course that is one huge way to combat woke culture and combat the cancel culture bullshit that they pushing. So, of course, consider leaving that value and giving it back, you hear me?
Value, value, and value. Oh, we need that.
Another way is self-employment, which is sort of kind of what this is. And self-employment, of course, I mean, you already know what self-employment is, owning your own business in a sense, right? And then, of course, having that person or group of people or many people support you in that business. When you don't have someone looking over your shoulder, so you feel free to, of course, speak and say anything you may want to say, right? And just to kind of break down the advantage of just being self-employed to protect us against that, it's Ish from the Joe Budden podcast.
Quit. But they're going to cancel him from building houses. You can't build a house ever again.
I mean, that's part of the reason why I tried my best to go the self-employed route. So I can't really have a ceiling over my head that somebody controls. I mean, you still you got to play the game, but your value and your worth is not dictated by somebody else. You get what I'm saying? Like, I don't necessarily have to play that game. We got to play a game. You got to.
And he actually said it very perfectly. You know what I'm saying? You got to play a game. You got to play the game with these people. But once you have the opportunity to start something on your own, you better seize it. Because these people ain't playing with you.
That's true.
They ain't playing with you. In case you ain't realized. They not playing with you. You know how many times they tried to cancel Dave Chappelle? They tried to cancel this man when he left his show. Way back in the early 2000s, they trying to cancel him now. They tried to cancel him 2 times in between. And it's like, fam, at a certain point, not even money gonna be able to, quote unquote, save you. And that's where it's like, you need to have your own. If Dave Chappelle had his own streaming platform or his own comedy platform or whatever it may be, he wouldn't even have to worry about appeasing to these people. Because why would you? But he's on Netflix. So there's still some appeasement that has to be done. And that's kind of what Ish was just saying. When you have your own, like in his example, he builds houses. He's a constructor or some shit like that, I think. No one's looking over his shoulder telling him, hey, you can't say that. You can't believe this. You can't go about the way of operating your life like this. Or you have to do this in order to continue to work with us. No one is continuing to say that, or no one is saying that because he has his own. And that's what everyone I encourage to do. Of course, I'm still encourage you to think for yourself. So if you don't feel like that's for you, then believe in what's for you, but still be thinking, how can I combat wokeness, or how can I combat cancel culture? Because my voice needed, your voice needed, and everybody I know voice is needed when it comes to just pure discussion and talking through problems, because there's going to always be problems that come our way, especially as a society. But we ain't going to never get nowhere if we just want to throw people in prison for not agreeing with us. Right? And that's kind of, that's kind of why I'm at with it. And I just want to ask y'all, is there things that you know are right, but are afraid to speak on it because maybe you don't want to be labeled, right? Like, I know there's some things in my life where I feel like I know is right. Like, what they doing ain't right. But I don't want to speak on it from time to time because I'll be honest, it may mess up my money. I got a couple businesses I run. I got a new job I just got. You know what I'm saying? So I'm on a But it's not the right way to do things because as we just discussed a little bit earlier, you know what I'm saying? In a second or third clip with the Brilliant Idiots, where Charlamagne was like, that's the way to get by these people, just to lie. And I feel like if you holding back your truth, that's just another way of lying, right? So I don't know. It's really like an open-ended question. How do y'all handle that? You know, how do y'all deal with that type of shit? What do y'all do when y'all placed in those type of situations? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm really interested in hearing y'all responses and how y'all feel about that. So definitely do message me and email me that. And before we leave today, before we end things off today, I actually got one last clip. It's actually from Dave Chappelle. It's a clip I grabbed from the Planet clip. What is it? Laugh Planet clip on YouTube. So of course I'm gonna give y'all a credit in the description. But it's really just Dave Chappelle kind of telling us how in the hell do you handle these woke people?
And then I realized at some point that she was pregnant and I was smoking on stage. I said, oh my God, that's probably why she's mad. So I started to put my cigarette out, but then she hit me with one of them fake non-smoker calls. So I just kept smoking. I thought to myself, bitch, that baby will be fine, relax. And I tried to break the tension. I just asked her. That's all I said. I go, hey, where are you guys from anyway? And I could tell that she was on to me. She goes, very condescendingly, she says, I'm from California. If you...
Condescendingly, of course, you can already tell she woke. And by the way, this is a little bit of a longer clip. It's probably like a nice little 2-3 minutes. So just preparing y'all.
We're asking my ethnicity. I am Chinese. And her husband was just cool about the shit. He was like, I'm Mexican, bro. I said, well, I'm sorry if I offended you by asking, but you're a very beautiful couple. And miss, there's no question that you're going to give birth to the hardest working baby this world has ever seen.
That boy crazy.
That's not a bad joke. She got very upset. She got up to leave immediately, but she didn't just leave. She had to take one last dig at me on the way out. I will never buy one of your fucking DVDs again, Dave Chappelle. I said, ma'am, with all due respect, Chinese people don't buy DVDs. And the crowd went crazy. We were all laughing, having a good time. I didn't even think anything of it. And then just 3 days later, this lady sends a fucking letter to my promoter telling him not to book me for shows anymore because I was, quote, racist, and I'm quoting her, insensitive to the nature of my interracial marriage. I was like, word, bitch, I was. If she had just done a little bit of research, she would know that I myself am in an interracial marriage.
Come on,
That's
man.
right.
Come on, man.
In fact, my wife is Asian too. Surprise, bitch. I'll see you on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, bro. And that's exactly how you got to handle them. You heard me? That Dave is exactly right. That's exactly how you got to handle them. You got to deal with it with logic. You got to deal with it, of course, in a very, now, of course, Dave is, he's a comedian. So you want to be professional. I'm not saying don't be professional, but you got to deal with it with logic, right? Like, she already pissed off at Dave. Like he mentioned in the clip, you know, she just staring at him, mad because he's smoking a cigarette and she pregnant. Of course, I get that. Don't get me wrong. You may have I understand that complaint. And as he mentioned, he was about to put it out until she started doing the other extra stuff, which is the fake coughing, right? So the fake coughing, boom, whoop-de-whoop. Now he like, man, look, I ain't about to put shit out because now I see where you coming from. I see what you trying to do. And then, of course, she started going, he tried to ease the situation out a little bit. So where y'all from? Where y'all from? She wanted to be, you know, a little smart. Didn't want to say where she from. Originally was like, yeah, I'm from Cali, but my ethnicity is Chinese. Again, you know, he's how these woke people operate. Trying to cancel somebody, trying to call good old Dave a racist, right? Her boyfriend was like, yeah, I'm Mexican, whatever. And then, of course, he made his little joke saying how since he's Mexican, she's Chinese, they gonna have the hardest working baby ever. And again, that's you know, not to be racist or anything, but you deal with it in jest. You deal with it in joking. You deal with it just to lower the mood, lower the animosity, lower the anger, because that's really the only way you can communicate with these people. That's the only way. You can't talk to them in logic. You can't talk to them like I'm talking to you, beautiful people, right now. Because they're going to think, well, if he's a racist, why should I be listening? Or if he's a misogynistic person or a homophobic person, why should I be listening? That's like the first thought that come to their mind. But what Dave did, he went about it in a very joking manner. Lighten the mood, got people around them seeing exactly what it was, seeing exactly he wasn't racist or he wasn't misogynistic or whatever. And yeah, that's how he dealt with it. While still, of course, not losing his joking pattern that he kind of went on. He ain't had one misstep. And I feel like that's exactly what we need to do in order to continue doing what we're doing. We got to continue to deal with these people in better ways. Not thinking that we're going to get the same result. Doing what we're currently doing. And that's by that, I mean, in just, again, trying to talk in a calm way to a person that's angry. We got to think of better ways. If it's joking, then it's joking. If it ain't saying nothing at all, then shit, it is what it is. But with all of that being said, I definitely do appreciate your time, you dig? I definitely do appreciate y'all sticking with me all the way through to the very end. Of course, I am L the Designer, your host. I don't even think I mentioned that at the top, but hell, I'm mentioning it now. I'm your host, L the Designer. This is the ShiftMakers podcast. I'ma remind y'all to consider giving some value back. We definitely got that PayPal and Venmo link in the show notes. Definitely don't be a shy giver, you hear me?
If the number's right, we gonna take flight.
Thank you for your time. Episode 16 of the ShiftMakers podcast.